what if I had just kept going? If I kept going, I might have been really big by now because I started that a long time ago. But I gave up just way too easily, and I don't know, that is kind of a problem that I have. He's bouncing off my booty cheeks, I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe with him pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck and then he kisses on my pussy, man. When it... Shit, fuck. I call him daddy when I holler, man, that boy's so damn good looking. Isn't that fun, Connor? Is that such a fun song, Connor? 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 Where's Connor? Oh no! I'm all alone! Connor left me! I'm by myself! I'm by myself! Well, at least you'll have nobody nagging me to finish my stories. I'm kidding, Connor. I love you, and I can't wait for you to come back to the pod. But yes, in case you did not catch up with last week's episode, Connor has decided to take a break from the podcast due to several reasons involving his personal life and his mental health. He's taken a 2-month break from the podcast. He will be returning sometime in October. So if y'all miss him, don't worry. He's coming back. But in case you feel like just tolerating me alone, well, here I am. Once again, I'm falling to pieces. Can't deny it. Can't pretend. All right, so I'm sorry. I'm used to, at this point, Connor showing his mug of the week, but again, not happening, or telling me what silly holiday it is. I guess I could have looked that up myself, but that would require work, and my work is researching these gay stories, which I guess I should start off with. We're not really doing our segments the way that we're usually going to do them. I'm just gonna bring up these stories and, I'm just gonna let you know some thoughts about them that I have. And for the hyperfixation of the week, there's not really gonna be a hyperfixation of the week. I'm just gonna be talking about things that have been on my mind on the week, because I guess I don't really even though I believe I have ADHD. I know I was diagnosed with it as a child. And I guess I don't think it goes away when you're an adult. I don't think so. I think that my parents probably thought that, but because they stopped prescribing me ADHD medicine like sometime when I was in high school. It was around the time they started prescribing me depression pills. Maybe they just simply thought, that you can't, we can't risk something happening from him having both, and solving depression is probably more important than curing depression is probably more important than curing ADHD. So let's prioritize the depression part. So I don't know. That probably is how it works, but that's probably what happened. I don't know. But either way, you see, you know what? I definitely do have ADHD, because look at how I got off topic like this. Look at that. Oh, Pod Daddy is letting me know what day today is. Monday, August 7th is National Lighthouse Day. Yes! Get in that lighthouse and have sex with Willem Dafoe disguised as a mermaid. Or no, he's not disguised. He's hallucinating that he was a mermaid. That's right. Did they actually have sex in that movie, or was that all in Robert Pattinson's head? I'm not sure. I mean, obviously there was a lot of things that were just in his head, but did they actually fuck? I feel like they did. I think that they did actually have sex in the lighthouse. I think that Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, I'm sorry, I forgot their names from the movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's been a long time. I don't really remember the characters' names, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they did have sex. And then Robert Pattinson dog walked him, and I don't remember, did he kill him the end of that movie? I'm not sure. Well, no, I don't think he did, but Robert Pattinson died because he climbed to the top of the light. That's right, he climbed to the top to see the light in the lighthouse because apparently there was something special about it that Willem Dafoe was keeping a secret from him. And why am I describing the plot of the Lighthouse? Of the Lighthouse. I'm sorry. I'm spoiling the movie, you guys, if you haven't seen it. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. And it's A24, so I can promote that movie without violating any SAG-AFTRA without violating anything from SAG-AFTRA, which I really wouldn't be because I'm not sponsored by anybody. So like, I'm a dinky little nobody content creator. So, I don't know if that counts for me to just talk because I'm seeing much bigger content creators who claim that they are supporting the strike and being, actively being like, we're against the strike. I mean, we're for the strike. We're for the strike, not against it. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about Stephen Amell here. Okay. Or Zachary Levi. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm just saying, no, I'm talking about people who are supporting the strike. And sometimes they have been promoting, works that they're not involved in, that they are not involved in, but that they, they just think are, neat and fun and like they want to talk about them. So I don't know, but I can't, but also reviews apparently are okay for content creators to post about projects. So I guess, I was planning on talking about some of the movies that I've seen this past week and give some thoughts about them. So I guess that would count as a review. So I guess I'm not violating them. And yes, I support the SAG-AFTRA strikes. I support the writers' strikes. Support the strikes. Get your fair writers and actors deserve fair wages. Laborers in general deserve fair wages. Okay. Where was I going with this? I was talking about the Lighthouse. Oh, A24. Yeah, so I can talk about A24 films because A24 has actually they complied with SAG-AFTRA's terms. So yeah, so I can talk about A24 films, and that was an A24 film. But so yeah, I can recommend an A24 film, and I have another A24 film, but that'll wait. For now, let's get into the news with Sounds Gay, I'm In. We're not doing the banners, but just so you know, we're starting that. Okay. So the first story is Beyonce pays tribute to dancer O'Shae Sibley, who was fatally stabbed in homophobic attack after voguing to her song. Yeah, unfortunately, I am going to start with one that's a little bit sad, but there is, something nice about it, and that's that Beyonce has paid tribute to this dancer, O'Shae Sibley, who was tragically killed in a homophobic attack while voguing to one of her songs. The icon has honored the late dancer with a tribute on her website, which reads, "Rest in Power, O'Shae Sibley." Sibley had been dancing to the singer's latest studio album, Renaissance, which is widely regarded as a love letter to the LGBTQ community at a gas station in Brooklyn. Surveillance footage has captured the moment Sibley was accosted by a group who hurled slurs at him and told him to stop dancing. One of these men is then reported to have stabbed O'Shea, who later died in the hospital from his wounds. A hate crime investigation is now underway into the stabbing. May O'Shea Sibley rest in power. Yeah, this is such a sad story, and I really hope that he gets justice and this person who stabbed him, like, they get what's coming to them. It's yeah, I'm sorry. This is someone else talking to me about this stuff. But yeah, and the fact that this happened in New York too, in Brooklyn, God, you would think that a city like that would be more tolerant. But I guess not. I guess there's bigots everywhere. I mean, yeah, obviously there is, but there is also some good news with this. Defiant Voguing Vigil was held at the scene of Sibley's killing. As hundreds of people congregated at the scene of the stabbing for a defiant voguing-filled vigil, the suspect wanted in connection with the killing of gay dancer O'Shae Sibley was in police custody on Friday, August 4th. A video posted to X Which I guess that's what we have to call it now. We have to call it X. A video posted to X, formerly known as Twitter, shows hundreds of people gathering at the scene of Sibley's death to grieve and to celebrate the life of a professional dancer and choreographer who had his life cruelly taken. Posters for the vigil described the event as a memorial ball and encouraged people to vogue as an act of resistance. Well, that's really nice. So, I it's kind of funny. It's actually no, it's not funny. Oh, sorry, Pod Daddy has some news, some other information. The 17-year-old suspect in this in the stabbing of O'Shea Sibley has been charged with murder as a hate crime and criminal possession as a weapon. Okay, thank you, Nick, thank you, Pod Daddy, for that update in the situation. So this is real. So at least justice is being served. To this. Oh, oops. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh right after that. Oh my god. But I almost I was okay, I keep my stories in tabs and I almost X'd out of the StreamYard tab. Anyway, so on lighter news, Jamie Lee Curtis vows to fight for her transgender daughter. I love Ruby. Love her. Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis has doubled down on her support for trans rights and opened up about her fight to protect her daughter, Ruby Guest. Appearing on MSNBC's Morning Joe on Friday, July 28th, with host Joe Scarborough, Curtis slammed the demonization of trans people as awful and terrifying. Damn, Jamie Lee, you are an MVP of unapologetic trans allyship. So yeah, in case y'all didn't know, Jamie Lee Curtis has a transgender daughter who she loves very much and supports. And I think she even officiated her wedding. I think that Jamie Lee Curtis even officiated her daughter's wedding. I think. I'm not sure about that. I didn't. I should have researched on that to make sure that was true. Pod Daddy can give you a little help on that. Yes. Okay. So yes, Jamie Lee Curtis did officiate her daughter's wedding. Okay. So yes. So Jamie Lee Curtis snaps. And while I'm on the topic of Jamie Lee Curtis, I might as well mention I saw the new Haunted Mansion movie this week. And to give a review, which is something that we could talk about, I thought it was all right. It was it had its problems. It was definitely a problematic film. Ironically enough, I think that it needed a little more time to develop to iron out the edges to say, squeaky, the clean, polish it. I'm not sure what I mean. I'm not sure what to say, but you know what I mean, to fix the problems. And it's ironic because I've said this to everybody I know, but I'm going to say it again. I do not understand why Disney released this movie in July. I mean, it is. I mean, it's the Haunted Mansion. Oh, sorry, it's not the Haunted Mansion. It's just Haunted Mansion. No definitive. Oh my god, I forgot what kind of word that is. I'm gonna look so stupid. Definitive articles. That was the word I was looking for. Yes, definitive articles. No definitive articles here. Just Haunted Mansion. So yeah, and I don't understand why it wasn't released in October. I mean, it's like next to The Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus, the Haunted Mansion is Disney's biggest Halloween-related IP. It's their biggest one, and they just decided, hey, let's release this movie in the middle of July, and not the middle of July, but the middle of summer, basically. Let's release it in the middle of summer, and not only that, but a week after Barbie and Oppenheimer. After Barbenheimer. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I thought and apparently the movie's not flopping, but I don't think it's doing as well as Disney would hope. And I'm hardly seeing anybody talk about it online either. I talked to my sister about it. She has seen it. Allison, shout out to Allison. She's a huge Haunted Mansion fan. She even got the Hatbox Ghost tattooed on her arm. Like, she's a huge Haunted Mansion fan. She loves Haunted Mansion fan. She loves Disney and she loves spooky shit. So, like, that's what Allison loves. And, and I love it too. I love it too. But not as much as she does, because she's super into that. But anyway, she saw the movie and she loved it, which I'm not surprised that she did, because, if you like the ride, you would like this movie. You would like this movie because it's a very fun tribute to the ride at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. But anyway, she was saying that, like, she thinks that, like, people will, like, buy merchandise around this time, so that's why they did. I forgot. Is that what you said, Allison? I don't remember. I could look through our text, but I'm not going to. So I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it was a fun movie despite its problems. I thought it was a neat little tribute to the ride. There was a lot of scenes that, like, were like, oh yeah, I remember that thing from the ride, and I remember that thing from the ride. And there's also, you even get to see the other facade, the Disney World facade, because if you've seen the trailer, you know that this movie takes place in the Disneyland version of the Haunted Mansion, which is modeled after a Louisiana plantation house, which kind of yikes when you think about it. But which also is kind of why the original Haunted Mansion movie is kind of actually a more profound than people say it is, because it kind of addresses those issues. I mean, the main villain in that movie was the master's racist butler. Like shit. Like, his motivation was literally that his white master was marrying a black woman, and that's why he cursed the mansion. Like, sheesh. Or at least I think that's what he did. But I know that that was his motivation for at least killing her, doing something like that. Anyway, so uh I don't know what else it said about. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking through it. Also, I thought it was okay, you know what? Okay, actually, I don't remember what she said, but either way, it probably has to do with merchandise. Maybe it has to do with the fact that there's a bunch of kids, like, out of school, and, Disney wants them to, like, get kids to see this movie because, it's a Disney movie. Of course, kids are gonna see it. Um, and, but adults usually will only go to horror movies around Halloween time, so they're gonna like save that slot for, like, actual horror movies that are out around that time. But I don't agree with that. I think it would have done really well if it was released around October or at least late September. Because what else would its competition be? Uh, Besides Five Nights at Freddy's, like, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is probably going to dominate that weekend. But, like, hey, Disney, maybe you could do the same thing that Barbenheimer did and try to manipulate people into hyping up both movies. Like, I feel like every movie studio is gonna do that now anyway, but I guess maybe it was too late for Disney because they already decided at that point, "Okay, we're gonna release this movie in the middle of July." The middle of the summer, not the middle of July. God damn, I keep saying that. Anyway, so I thought the movie was so yeah, it's a lot it's pretty fun, also kind of weird. It's kind of weird but nice that it has an anti-suicide message. Like, yeah, Haunted Mansion 2023 is an anti-suicide movie. And I'm gonna talk about that when I talk about how another movie I saw actually was surprisingly similar to Haunted Mansion. But those are my thoughts on that movie. But I'll talk about it a little bit later if I have time. And speaking of movies that I like, happily hyphenated, Fire Island's Conrad Ricomora marries partner Peter Wesley Jensen. Yes, the star of Fire Island is now a married man. On July 28th, the actor took to Instagram to reveal that he tied the knot with his longtime partner, Peter Wesley Jensen. Happily hyphenated, introducing the Ricomora Jensens. Lots of things happened these past few weeks, but this is the highlight of my life, he wrote. That is so nice. Conrad Ricomora getting getting married. He was also in How to Get Away with Murder, in case y'all didn't know that. Although, granted, if you know who Conrad Ricomora is, chances are that's probably where you know him from. I mean, you might know him from Fire Island now, but before that, his big break was How to Get Away with Murder. I really wish I finished that. Okay, you know, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. So, but here's what we will talk about. We will talk about country's newest gay anthem is sorry, the newest gay anthem is a country song. Open your ear holes up. Put away your hand fans and take out your cowboy hats. Country music is coming to your local gay bar. We are here for the latest TikTok trend, ultra raunchy country songs about getting your back blown out. One of the first musicians to pioneer the style, singer-songwriter Jake Hill, aka Dixon Dallas, had hits such as Good Lookin', Like Whiskey, blown up online with over 30 million views on social media and over 10 million plays on Spotify. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. In case you didn't know, Good Lookin' by Dixon Dallas is the song I was singing in the beginning of this video because it is trending, it's blowing up, and I do have some thoughts about this. So, this trend has a name that this article didn't report on. This trend has a name, and it's called Sus Country. And from that title alone, I feel like the intentions behind this song are not as pure as you might think. Now, so I should also mention that Jake Hill, which is the real name of Dixon Dallas, he does not openly identify as queer. He does not openly identify as gay, bisexual, or pansexual or anything. So, and apparently he has had a girlfriend before. I read about that somewhere. And it's just I am a little conflicted because it does feel like the point of this trend is that it's by straight musicians who create gay country personas to sing these explicit songs about gay sex. And on the surface, it does seem like, oh, this is fun. This is something that we like because, like, haha, I'm like that. I do that. Haha, I do that. Like, it seems like that. And it also seems like this whole thing is like, a big middle finger to Republicans because Republicans love country music. I mean, there's all that controversy about that Try That in a Small Town song. And some people are even commenting on this saying, is this what Jason Aldean meant by try that in a small town? Like, they're making fun of the Republicans here. So that's one way to look at it. But I also do look at it as making fun of gay people too, because this is by straight people where the punchline is we're acting gay. We're pretending to be gay. Isn't this funny that we're singing country songs, but like we're pretending to be gay? It's like, I do kind of feel like they are making fun of both Republicans and queer people. Maybe not quite as much queer people as Republicans, but that does kind of feel like that might be, what the intention of this trend is. Because after all, they're calling it sus country. And, in case you don't know, sus is short for suspicious, which in recent years has kind of become like a term by straight people to describe queerness as being sus. It's suspicious, which I don't think I have to explain why that's problematic to refer to queerness as being suspicious, especially from the perspective of a heterosexual. Like, from the perspective of a heterosexual, to describe queerness as being suspicious, even if it is in jest, because, like, that's almost like, like a white person, making jokes about, like, making jokes about things that black people do. Like, if a black person makes that joke, like, it's okay because they're black, but if a white person does it, it's not. And I feel like it's the same thing with being queer. Like, a queer person can, make fun of queer people, but when a straight person does it, it comes off as being, legitimately bigoted. That's also pretty much how slurs work. Like, that's why the people affected by the slurs can reclaim them. However, the people who are not affected by those slurs cannot reclaim them. And therefore, when they say the slurs, they're meaning it in its, in its uh, malevolent intent. A malevolent original intent, I should say. Yeah, so basically, like, if you're affected by a slur and you say it, like, you could reclaim it because you're the person being affected by it. But if you're not, then you're just using it in its original malevolent meaning, whether you intend to or not. But who knows? Maybe these guys actually are just trying to make fun of Republicans and, like, try to stick it to them and piss them off and, like, laugh at their expense. And, they're actually totally cool. And they're actually, like, really supportive of queer people. Or maybe this Dixon Dallas guy, maybe he actually is queer. I don't know. Like, just because someone has had a girlfriend before, that doesn't mean that they're like, even if they have a girlfriend now, they could be bisexual. Like, queerness is a lot more than just gay. All right, so those are the last of the, like, explicitly queer stories that I have, but I do have a little bit of artificial fruit flavoring, and that has to do with Lizzo. So, in case you've been living under a rock this week, Lizzo kinda has been canceled. Yep, unfortunately, she's facing allegations of abuse towards her dancers, both uh, sexual abuse, overworking them, and body shaming them. And and the first two are pretty bad, but I'm really surprised at the allegation of that last one because body positivity is Lizzo's whole thing. That's like her brand is body positivity. She's a big girl and she's proud of being big. Like she says like, "Hey, you know what? I love everyone." In fact, I think she even has a song about, being fat, but like unlike Megan Trainor who has her songs about love and being fat, like Lizzo and or Nicki Minaj, like, when Nicki Minaj said, "All you skinny bitches, fuck you." uh, but I think that Lizzo in her song, like, unlike the other ones, she actually has a lyric saying, "Hey, if you're skinny, that's cool too. Like, you be you, but all bodies are beautiful." I believe so, but I'm not entirely sure. But either way, this is shocking, but Lizzo has put out a response to these allegations, and fortunately, it was not in the form of a ukulele song, so at least Lizzo didn't do that. But Lizzo basically, her defense was like, I wasn't overworked, like, I didn't make anybody do anything that they didn't want to do. I never body shamed anybody. And, I take my work very seriously. So I do make my dancers work hard and I expect a lot out of them. I expect the most out of them because I take my job very seriously. So, yeah, like that does sound like a pretty good defense. I mean, I'm not sure about the sexual stuff because they allege that she would take them to, strip clubs and make them like touch the dancers, or one of them was they made them eat a but one of the claims was that they made them eat a banana out of a stripper's vagina. Lizzo made graphic remarks about incorporating bananas into sex acts. Yeah. So but then we saw there the two of the dancers who were suing her. They're not just uh revealing allegations against her. They're actually suing her for abusing them for their work. But the dancers they had an interview on TMZ and they basically admitted that like Lizzo never actually made them do anything. They just felt pressured to do certain things, but it was like a nonverbal pressuring. They pretty much even said like in my mind like it felt like Lizzo would fire me if I didn't, go to these parties with her and do all these things, these wacky things with her. But they make it clear that she never actually made them do anything. So it kind of seems like, even if Lizzo remains canceled, it kind of sounds like she's going to win this lawsuit against them. Unless you consider the fact, but then, wait, there's more to this story. So Lizzo's lawyer is Marty Singer, and Singer's clientele ranges from a variety of stars, including Bill Cosby, Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen, Chris Brown, Brett Ratner, and currently Jonah Hill. That's not good, Lizzo. Like, listen, I know everybody deserves a fair trial. Everybody deserves the right to an attorney, no matter what awful thing you've done. But, like, if there was, I just feel like if you want to make yourself look innocent, if you're like, if you're a public figure and you really want to make yourself look innocent, I'd really not recommend getting the lawyer who represented Bill Cosby or Chris Brown or Brett Ratner. Like, yikes. Like, no. Like, Lizzo, this guy, he represents bad dudes. Really bad dudes. Why would you want to be associated? Why would you want to be on this list? Why would you want to be on that list, Lizzo? Why? I would personally not want a lawyer who has that kind of reputation. Like, I'm sorry, again, like what I said, but if I'm a public figure, like, okay, maybe if I'm a private citizen, maybe I would get this guy to represent me because I don't think anybody would know about it because I'm a nobody. But if you're Lizzo, like, yeah, people are going to connect the dots and they're going to make you, like, I don't know how her team did not take this into consideration, how this would make her look. Like, were they relying purely on, the dumb comments on the TMZ interview? Because, like, I mean, that was good, but, like, I don't get it. I truly don't get why there are so many lawyers. There are so many great lawyers out there. Why would you get one who was associated with so many bad people if you're a public figure? I mean, I'm not saying this guy doesn't deserve work because, again, like I said, everybody deserves a fair trial. But if you are a public figure and you want yourself to look innocent, don't get the lawyer of somebody who's publicly represented some really bad people. It's just not a good look. It's not a good look. But anyway, yeah, so I'm not sure what to make of this Lizzo case because, I'm not going to slam the guilty verdict on her just because she has this lawyer and and I want to believe the victims here. It's good to always believe victims, but their comments on TMZ have really made it sound a little dubious. And personally, maybe I am just biased because I am a fan of Lizzo's. Maybe I am biased. I will acknowledge that. I might be biased to be on her side here, to want to believe that she is innocent in all of this. I do want to believe that. But I am prepared to accept the truth. I want to let everyone know that. So yeah, let me repeat myself. I would like for Lizzo to be innocent in all of this. I would really like that. I would like that for any celebrity that I'm a fan of to be innocent of an allegation that they're facing. However, I am prepared to accept the truth if they are in fact guilty. I'm prepared to accept that truth. And depending on the severity of their crime, it will affect how I view them. I might still be a fan of their work and accept their crimes, or I might never want to be associated with them again. Or maybe it will be gradual, like how I felt with Harry Potter. Like when I first, like when J.K. Rowling first, not when she first did. When she first did, she was when she first came out with her transphobia bullshit, I was kind of like I was like, she was pretty quiet about it. So I was kind of overlooked it. I thought, "Oh, maybe she didn't really mean that like that." Like I was making excuses for her, not publicly, but in my mind, just to, rationalize still being a fan of hers. But then, of course, she showed her true colors a few years later, or maybe it was even less than a year later. I don't really remember. But either way, she showed her true colors, revealed who she really is, a monster who meant what she said and just continues to double down. And anyway, my point is that even though was it was hard for me to accept the fact that she was not the person that I thought that she was. But I did accept it. And I was like a lot of people and really just wanted to separate the art from the artist because it's not really her myself that I love. I mean, it's really her work, her Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series. Like, I loved Harry Potter. Everybody does. And I say loved in a past tense because I did manage to, you know, I did want to separate the art from the artist as well, but I did see all of the signs of her awfulness, her hatred, her bigotry, not just towards trans people, but for other people, for Jewish people, for people of color, for large people, for big people. It was like it's just for gay people too. It was just really sad to see all the signs there. Like, I mean, the token Asian character's name is Cho Chang. Pretty much no person of color in the series actually affects the story. Maybe except for Kingsley, but like that's it. Hell, most of the characters who are of color, most of the non-Caucasian characters in Harry Potter, most of their scenes are cut in the movies. And as you could see, because they were cut and the plot was able to continue, what they contributed didn't actually matter. Like, yeah, Dean Thomas wasn't captured alongside Luna Lovegood and Ollivander in Malfoy's Manor, and it didn't affect the story at all. They kept the story the same. Or Angelina Johnson, is stressing out about being the new captain of the Quidditch team. That plot was cut out too. I don't even remember which book that scene was in because it was completely cut from the movie. I believe it was the fifth book because wait, yeah, no, it was the fifth one because Harry became captain of the Quidditch team in the sixth one. That's right. See, I remember things. See, I am a fan. It's hard for me to not call myself a fan, but I have fallen out of love with the Harry Potter franchise because I just really can't help but see JK in her work. And it's getting really difficult to separate the art from the artist when you take all the things. I'm sorry, I didn't mention my other examples of why J.K. Rowling's awfulness seeps into her work. The fact that she let Dumbledore come out afterwards, like, it just, even though there's nothing in the story that indicated that before, except for his relationship with Grindelwald, which I think that was after she made him gay afterwards because he had died at that point. So the Grindelwald story wasn't really incorporated until the seventh book. So, like, the true story of the Grindelwald story about how they were like really close friends and stuff. Really close friends, although now it's canon that they were in love, which, like, what took you so long to canonize that? Like, why couldn't you have just said that before? That, like, yeah, Dumbledore was in love with this person. Like, it would have been the same. Hell, it would have been better. It would have made for a better story if Dumbledore was in love with Grindelwald and not just really good friends with him. Because, like, that is high drama. I mean, a platonic, love, is great, but, like, when it's romantic, it kind of adds another layer to, like, the fact that they're now enemies. Like, not just like, and not like bitter exes, but like they are sworn enemies now. But they used to be in love, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it is better that they're platonic. I don't know. But either way, she really just pulled that out of her ass. And then the narratives around Dumbledore seem to kind of be like, oh yeah, you're wrong for being gay. Like, you're not wrong for being gay, but you're wrong for acting on your gayness and, like, being in love with a man. You should stay alone. it almost seems like that's the message that they kind of sent with Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Like, Grindelwald seems to be more open and himself, and he's villainized for it. Meanwhile, Dumbledore is much more reserved and quiet, and yet he's depicted as the good guy. I don't know, maybe that's reading too far into it, but there's that. But you know what you don't have to read too far into? The goblins. Yeah, I was saving those. You probably were waiting for me to say that. You're probably like, Kevin, what about the goblins? Kevin, what about the goblins? Yeah, the goblins. Let's talk about it. The hooked-nosed banker goblins that are greedy and twisted, and they kidnap children. Like, wow. Like, I feel like such a fucking idiot for not seeing that sooner. Like, yikes. Yikes. Yikes! I don't know how else to say yikes. Like, at first, when I first heard of this comparison, when someone first revealed it to me, I thought, oh, but goblins have always looked like that. That's not intentional, but like, I used to think it was just a coincidence. It was not intentionally, depicting, not intentionally anti-Semitic. I did not think it was intentionally anti-Semitic, but, it was just accidentally. But, now that I know how awful she is, towards trans people, how she feels about one demographic of people, one marginalized demographic of people, I'm starting to think, yeah, I don't think this was a coincidence. I don't think it was a coincidence that she depicted goblins as being anti-Semitic caricatures. Like, I believe that there's even a Star of David in the floor of Gringotts in the movies, I think, but I'm not sure. That might have been edited. I did not. I shouldn't be making these claims, and then, I mean, at least I admit I didn't double check, so I could be wrong about this. But yeah, I've gone on long about how I fall in love with Harry Potter, and my point being that I was making before is that it took me a while to fall out of love with the Harry Potter franchise, but I think I have at this point. Like, I don't it J.K. Rowling truly has affected the way I view this franchise. And it makes me sad. It really makes me sad because I loved these characters. I used to adore these characters. I used to want to be Harry Potter. And now I can't think I want to be Harry Potter without thinking I want to be an awful person. I want to be a bigot. Because even though Harry Potter himself is not in the books, the fact that he was created by one, it just it really feels gross to me. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's just like the fact that I, idolize the creation of such a despicable person. The fact that I would participate in the creation of someone so disgusting. It just even if what makes them disgusting is not explicitly in their work, it's still a feeling that, like, you get, and I know it's and maybe it's not rational, maybe it is, maybe, like, I do try not to I choose not to buy Harry Potter merchandise. I don't remember the last time I've purchased any kind of Harry Potter merchandise at all, or purchased a ticket to any of the movies. Actually never saw the last, Fantastic Beasts movie because the second one was so awful. And I only actually, no, wait, I didn't pay to see that. That's right, I worked at Regal, huh? So, yeah, I really can't remember the last piece of Harry Potter merchandise or movie ticket that I bought. I don't remember because it's been a long time, and I have no intention to. I don't wanna give J.K. Rowling any more of my money. But even then, I still feel guilty about even liking the series. And it's kind of come to the point where I don't. I genuinely don't really like it because I can't bring myself to like it. I'm just kind of realizing, maybe these stories, maybe these characters actually weren't as great as I thought they were. Cause, looking back, they're kind of not. Like, the stories are kind of basic and, sometimes like, a little simplistic, a little bit, and kinda just not really engaging. Like, Harry Potter himself is not really that fun of a character, like, he's not really that cool or anything. I mean, he's kinda cool, but not really, like, I like his comebacks at Snape, like, those are fun. Those are always fun, but, of course, those are cut from the movie, so, you know. I mean, listen, I'm not in love with Harry Potter anymore, but I can't deny when when Snape told Harry that's, you know, what did he say? Uh, like, he basically said to call him sir, and Harry replied, "There's no need to call me sir." Like, he said, like, "My work is done, sir." Then like Harry told him, "My work is done," and then Snape said, "My work is done, sir." And then Harry said, "There's no need to call me sir." Like, Harry was a sassy little bitch in the books. So, you know what? Maybe Harry is actually kind of a fun character. Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of rolling back to it. Oh my gosh. Where am I? Oh boy. Yep. I don't know. I kind of almost flipped back to it and I'm like, huh, maybe I actually do like this art by this bigot. I don't know. It's, separating the art from the artist, it's a hard thing. But my original point that I was making before is, if I don't, cancel Lizzo myself, if I don't personally cancel her myself, finding in these allegations, and if it turns out that these allegations are true, I will accept them and, you know, I will cancel her. I will view her differently. I'm gonna view her music differently. I'm gonna be disappointed in myself for being a fan of hers, but I will accept it eventually, even if not at first, I will accept it eventually because that's what I've done with Harry Potter. Maybe I haven't even fully accepted it yet, but I intend to. I intend to accept it. That's my point that I was making before was that I might not I might not have accepted Harry Potter's cancellation, but I intend to. I intend to accept it. Which, I think that is important. Intention is important with a lot of things because I feel like a lot of people do kind of beat themselves up over them not being able to accomplish something, but just wanting to accomplish something, you know, you should give yourself credit for that at least because you know what? Because you know what happens when you don't. When you don't do that, when you don't you give up and then you don't accomplish the thing that you're trying to do. But if you feel good about yourself for even trying, it does help. Maybe not by a lot, but it does help. Just to say, "Hey, you know what? I intended to do this, and you know what? That's the first step." Like, I'm like, and that sounds like a joke, but like, I'm serious. You should give yourself credit for actually wanting something, actually intending to do something, even if you're not quite doing it, if you're not doing it right. The fact that you're trying, even if you don't even try, even the fact that you're planning on trying, it's good. It's a good first step. And, I kind of wish that somebody had told me that when I was younger because there's a lot of projects that I've just given up on. Like, did you guys know that I used to have a YouTube channel myself? I mean, I still do, but I just kind of dump my reels on there, my TikToks and reels on there. I just kind of dump them there and with the shorts, but I used to make like full-length YouTube videos for a little bit, but I wasn't getting any views, I wasn't getting any subscribers, so I just kinda gave up on it, and I feel really bad for giving up on it because, what if I had just kept going? If I kept going, I might have been really big by now because I started that a long time ago, but I gave up just way too easily, and I don't know, that is kind of a problem that I have, is that I do give up on things a little too easily, and I just really wish I didn't, and you know what? I will give myself credit for not wanting to give up on things. I you know, because frankly, honestly, if it wasn't for Pod Daddy Nick and Connor, I'm gonna be honest, I probably would have given up on this podcast because, to be blunt, I haven't quite been seeing the results that I wanted. But it's okay because you know what? These things take time. And, one day they might. I'm sorry if that came off as being a bit selfish and whiny, that's that's my truth, is that I probably would have given up on this podcast had it not been for everyone else involved. So I really do appreciate that. I really do appreciate everyone involved with this podcast because again, if I was doing this myself, I probably would have given up by now. And I do wanna try to work on that, on not giving up on myself because I just that does kinda come to, a pretty big dissatisfaction with my life, is that, you know, I feel like I, haven't accomplished much, and I kinda beat myself up over that. And I feel like a lot of the reasons why I haven't accomplished much is that I give up too easily. So, I'm gonna work on not doing that. I'm going to work on not giving up on myself so easily because, again, like I said, just wanting to, that's the first step. It's the first step. Just wanting to better yourself, wanting to do that, do a thing that you wanted to do. That's the first step. So, made it that far. A lot of people don't even make it that far. A lot of people have a lot of flaws about them and they don't even bother fixing them because they don't want to fix them. So, the fact that you're, wanting to do something, it's better than what a lot of people do. A lot of people don't even want things. And I frankly don't get it, but it's so just wanting things that makes you at least a step ahead of them, I guess. Oh, now I remember what I was going to talk about. One more thing. So, remember that other movie that I was going to talk about before, but when I was talking about the Haunted Mansion, the one that's by A24, so I can freely talk about it all I want, not even bother to say this is a review because I mean it is a review, but I saw the movie Talk to Me. Now this is an Australian horror movie that was actually made by the YouTube channel Raka Raka. And at first I didn't know who they were, but then I found out they made those high-pitched, violent Ronald McDonald videos where Ronald McDonald has a high-pitched voice and he's, like, just beating the shit out of everybody. Yeah, they made those videos, and they made this horror movie, and I find that very amusing, I find that very funny, but but this movie was fucking scary, oh my god, it is so freaky, it is so scary. Like, honestly, it just makes me grateful that Australia is not real. Oh boy. I'm sorry, everybody and their mom has told that joke. I'm such a joke stealer, I'm sorry. But hey, so is Amy Schumer, and she has a successful career, so maybe I can too. But yeah, this movie, it was so freaky, it's so visceral, like, I between this movie and, Hereditary, I feel like an easy way to freak people out is child mutilation. That's gonna sound so bad out of context. Holy shit. In movies. I mean in movies, not in real life. Oh my god. Yikes. Connor would absolutely eat me the fuck up for that. Connor would. May he rest in he's not dead. He's just taking a mental health break. And maybe he needs one too, considering what he's working with here. 'Cause, oh my god. Mutilate children in movies, not in real life, not in real life. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, it does freak people out, and a lot of people are not willing to do it. So, I mean, it might be a cop out, but But it wasn't in this movie. I will say it wasn't because there was a lot more to it. I really think that the thing that made it freaky is actually the thing it has in common with the Haunted Mansion. So get this. Both this movie, Talk to Me, and the Haunted Mansion came out on the same day, July 28th, 2023. In America, at least. It came out a day earlier in Australia. But anyway, because of course it's Australian. But anyway, so both these movies come out the same day, and both of them are about evil spirits that trick people into killing themselves by pretending to be their deceased loved one and also possess people. Both those movies are about that! Like, that's so crazy! And yeah, it was played out really scary, and it is pretty scary in the Haunted Mansion. I think for a kids movie is pretty scary. Like, I think that there are some kids who will be afraid of it. Uh, but the thing that made Talk to Me so scary was how you could never really trust the ghost, because one of the ghosts that the main girl sees is of her deceased mother. But the whole time I'm thinking that's not really her mom. That's an evil spirit pretending to be her mom, making her believe that that's her mom, because we find out later in the movie that the spirits can imitate other people. They can pretend to be other people. They can make you hallucinate and see things that aren't really there. So if they can do that, what's stopping them from imitating her mother and making her see her mother and making her think that her mother wants her to do certain things? So yeah, I don't believe that that was her mom. I don't think it was. I think it was just an evil spirit pretending to be her mom. And I think it was the evil spirit came to her when she first played the Talk to Me game. I'm sorry, this is minor spoilers for the movie, but like, actually, it's kind of major spoilers. I just spoiled a lot of the movie just then. But yeah, in the beginning of the movie, they play this game. And I think that because she held on for too long because, well, I mean, they say this in the trailer that like the way it works is that there's a ceramic hand that allegedly is the petrified hand of a psychic, a medium, and the kids hold the hand, light a candle, hold the hand, and say, "Talk to me," and they'll see a ghost. And then when they say, "Let me in, I let you in," the ghost then possesses them, and the kids have 90 seconds before the ghost leaves their body, or else the ghost will stay. And they stop it by blowing out the candle because the candle is apparently the doorway to the worlds of the living and the dead or something like that. But yeah, all right, I'm running out of time. I should wrap this up. So yeah, this movie was really freaky, really scary. I'm sorry I kind of spoiled it. I mean, I didn't say how it ends. I didn't say how it ends. So you guys, you have that. You have that. I didn't say how it ends. Uh, but yeah, it's really freaky, really scary. I definitely recommend it if you're into horror. Like, and also if you're into like relatively bloodless horror, because, well, actually, no, this movie's not bloodless, that's for sure. But not a lot of people die in this movie, oddly enough. And I think that for a movie where like not that many people die, I think it's pretty effective and pretty scary. So like usually, like, I don't think this movie's gonna end up on the kill count because there really isn't one. I mean, there technically is, but again, it's I don't know how to word it. It's a little weird. Um, so with that being said, I think it's about time. Oh yeah, oh yeah, one more thing. I guess I'll give a quick review of Secret Invasion. Bad. I give more into details about it in my TikTok. I'll just say that. Uh, So, if you like this podcast, if you like listening to this podcast, please make sure that you hit that like button if you're watching it on YouTube, or rate it if you are listening to it on any of our audio platforms. We are on Apple Music. I'm sorry, Apple iTunes. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio, and we are on Acast. And you can find us anywhere at Fruity Cereal. That is fruity like the food and cereal like the number. or the killer, because we're getting into spooky season. And make sure to subscribe to this to the YouTube channel. That's the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. Yes, it's youtube.com/ETB Network. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not already. You can follow and you can follow me anywhere if you type in It's Kevin O'Lear. That's ITSKEVINOLEAR. Pretty much anywhere. I'm that. I think maybe except Facebook, but who uses Facebook anymore? To check on your aunt. I don't know. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my aunts. My aunts listen to this podcast. I forgot. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Aunt Janice. I'm sorry, Aunt Kelly. I don't know if any of my other aunts listen to this, but I know at least you two do. Sorry to you guys. Which is really making me consider what I sang in the beginning of the episode. Oops. Okay. All right, with that being said, good night, everybody. Good night, Barbies. I'm definitely not thinking about death anymore. Stay fruity, everyone.